Now, are you one of the thousands of people in the northwest who bought a new build house only to discover the plot it's on is owned by someone else?
We've already highlighted on Granada Reports the anger of people who've bought their homes on a leasehold basis, only to find themselves hit with unexpected charges from the people who own the land.
Well, tonight we can reveal a large group of leaseholders are launching a so-called mass action legal campaign to literally free their homes. Our correspondent Elaine Wilcox has more.
For the past 3 years, a nurse from Cheshire has been fighting for the right to own her own property. Without her knowing, the developer Bellway sold her freehold to an offshore company.
It's had a massive impact on me personally. You know, every spare minute that I have when I'm not working or being a full-time mum, I'm campaigning to fight for justice for all those that are trapped in this. It literally has consumed my life for the last 3 years, and I just want it to be over for everybody.
Katie's among 70 householders in the northwest taking legal action to forcibly buy their freeholds. The current system's been described as the new PPI of the housing industry. Leaseholds are essentially long-term tenancies, and on estates like this, they're no longer the peppercorn ground rents of the past. This mass legal action taking on big business is being seen as a David and Goliath battle.
These people have deep pockets. We have what's right, and I'm hopefully people power will come through, because what they have done is outrageous. There's no defence. It might have been legal, but it's definitely not moral.
Across all political parties, there is a real determination to do something about this, because it is such a massive injustice. It's been exposed a real rotten core to the house building industry that needed exposing, but now we need to come up with some practical steps to deal with the consequences of that.
If I rewound time, I probably wouldn't buy this house again.
Just round the corner, Jane PEARSON is in the same position. Bellway no longer sell new leasehold properties, but that's little comfort for families like ours.
We need legislation on it, and they need to put governance in place that says if you've got a leasehold, these are the steps you can take to buy it. Make it fair for people and make it clear, because it's not clear at the moment.
Katie's set up a national leasehold campaign which now has 15,500 members. They say they won't give up until the government acts on its promise to end the leasehold trap.
Well, Elaine joins us in the studio now. Leasehold reform was mentioned again in yesterday's Queen's speech. Is that good news?
Well, it is, Anne, and that's largely thanks to Katie Kendricks, who started this campaign on a laptop in a living room in Ellesmere Port. It does show leasehold reform is on the government agenda, but it has been for the last 2 years. There's been lots of promises, and the campaigners are saying we need action now. Householders are still being charged hundreds of pounds to have their own pet in their house or to change their doorbell. And crucially, in this latest Queen's speech, there was no mention of any help for those caught in this leasehold trap. And there are some worrying exceptions too. For example, retirement housing. After intense lobbying by some of the developers, that means pensioners will still have to pay for ground rent.
And there's an important report coming out next month.
Yes, that's right. It's the Law Commission report on making buying freeholds easier, quicker and cheaper, but the devil will be in the detail, of course. The big developers, including Bellway, have already pledged to stop selling leasehold properties. But that means really there's a two-tier system for those stuck in this situation with their leasehold properties. They're much more difficult to sell, and they're still being charged, and those charges have been described by the government as unfair, and that's why they're taking this legal action, which could be very costly.
OK, Elaine, thank you very much indeed.